and welcome to the show. This is Soulstar Radio. I'm Jacquelene Closemore. Welcome to the show. We're coming to you live from South Yarra in my little tiny shop here. It's kind of cool. I kind of do weird things here. There are butterflies on the ceilings, but my producer kind of, he's got a bit of a problem with if I move the shot around. So we're not going to do that today. We're trying to get our guest on, but in the meantime, we might see how we go with everything. We're trying to connect with them. But what we do on this show quite often is we do live readings, sure, and we're going out to you live across YouTube, across Facebook. Sometimes we're covering things like, doing readings, sometimes psychic development, sometimes emotional and spiritual issues. And then also we have really interesting guests from a variety of fields. And today, I believe I'm joined on here by a wonderful lady called Fiona May, who runs Women on Transition. And she's actually a former international businesswoman who retired from a successful career to pursue the passion of empowering women. She was happily married for 28 years, built multiple businesses. Don't know what that feels like, and had 3 children with her husband. Hello. And in the midlife crisis, and, she was left for a younger woman. She never once thought that they wouldn't grow old together and was totally blindsided and never saw it coming. Her kids and her, along with the families and friends, were devastated as life as they had known it was all over. And that allows for new beginnings. I mean, it sounds shocking when these sorts of things happen, but, it can also bring about a whole new life. And certainly in Fiona's case, she's got first-hand experience of what it's like to go through some pretty, difficult times in relationships and big major transition and change. So she's well positioned to guide and coach women going through separation or divorce, and she understands what it's like for you, what you're going through. Relationship breakdowns can be destructive, soul-destroying, and many people simply don't have the tools or knowledge to know how to navigate these challenges. And this is where Fiona comes in. So I'm joined on the line by Fiona, and she's over in Perth, WA, Australia. Are you there, Fiona?
Yes, Jacqueline, and it's lovely to talk to you.
It's lovely speaking with you. Thank you for joining us on the show. We got there. And now you're dealing a lot with relationship breakdowns and how to deal with that, because quite often people can be going through shock. They can be going through all sorts of different emotions. And certainly, some people can get panic attacks. There can be all sorts of things about, blah, blah, blah. Like, what do I do with the finances? What do I do about this? So you're doing coaching with that. Did you want to sort of, tell us, how you work with women on this sort of level?
Yes, yeah. So, going through a divorce can probably be one of the most traumatic things that you ever have to go through in your life. And for a lot of ladies, they just find themselves, totally outside of their depth. They don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know how to control everything that's just suddenly landed on their lap. And so for many of them, it's a real case of initially they've just got to breathe. They've just got to get grounded and, find their way forward. And I see so many ladies getting stuck because they just don't have the tools and the emotional maturity to be able to move themselves forward out of the stuckness. And, so it's about encouraging them to see their greatness, to step up, to already acknowledge who they are, because, we're all amazing women and we've already achieved and done so much in our life. And when when you have something knock the wind out of your sail, often you forget who you are and you lose yourself in that. So, my work's about empowering the women to step up, but I just don't believe in empowering. I believe we need to increase our emotional intelligence. We need to learn new skills and, grow outside of ourselves so we can actually create a new life.
Absolutely. And a lot of women that I sort of see in my work with readings, you get women who, there can be all sorts of different things, but the one I want to sort of point to is I remember a lady sitting there once and she couldn't see her life outside of the relationship, and all she'd ever done was for the partner, and the whole relationship centred around that one person, not the two of them, and that one person's wants and needs and fulfilling that and catering to it. And she was working around the clock. It was crazy. And so here she was sitting at the end of the relationship, and all she wanted to hear was that he would come back to her, not how do I cope with this situation. And he clearly was not going to be coming back to her, and her whole family had been, trying to get around to that idea. How do you deal with it? What sort of steps can women take when they're in that kind of role? Because, for her case, I was sort of thinking, wow, gosh, we really need to get her to a doctor urgently for a mental health plan. But what sort of things would you recommend inside your program there, for women in that particular kind of line of thinking?
Yeah, sure. It's very often our identity and who we believe we are is tied up in what we do. So, if you've been a wife and a mother and you've taken pride out of that and you've built yourself up to be, that's your role in life, when that's suddenly not there anymore, you feel like you've got nothing. Suddenly you just feel like, who am I? And so many women that I deal with in midlife, it's a case of who are they now that they're not, not married, that they're now separated, they're now single, and who am I? And when they look at themselves, they don't even know who they are because, in the journey, through being a good wife, good mum, making ends meet, working hard, often they're working outside the home, and often women take a major role in the family. So they're making the decisions, they're calling the shots, they're doing the work. And in all of that process, they lose themselves. They forget who they are. They're too busy to spend time on, loving and nurturing themselves. So they suddenly get to this crisis. And it's really the work I do is, I don't believe in Band-Aids. I don't believe in just running off to the doctors and getting put on antidepressants and numbing yourself down. I believe in doing your core healing. And underneath the hurt and the pain and the suffering is the little voice in your head that says that I'm not good enough, that there's something wrong with me, that he wouldn't have left me if I was this or that or that. And it's that little voice that we need to quieten, and we do that by going within.
You really do, and it's vital work. And I've sort of seen even women that go, look, I really don't know what I want to do next. I really don't know who I am. So it really speaks to that sort of statement. Now, you've got the Shine program. Did you want to tell us a bit about what that is and how it works?
Yeah, sure. So the Shine program is a program that I've written, and it really deals with our core healing. So it's a program that's broken into three sections, really. We do it as an intensive over 9 weeks. It's all done online, so I get to be able to serve ladies all over the world as long as you've got an internet connection, so it's really beautiful. And the program is broken into 3 components. So first there's healing. So we've really got to heal. And then we've got to grow our emotional intelligence because we don't know what we don't know. Everyone does the best they can with the tools that they've got, but we need to learn new tools. So for us to step up and see our own greatness and really fall in love with the woman that we are, we need to get new tools so we can look outside of that, what we already know. So everyone wears a mask. And, my job is to help you take off the mask and to go back inside to that little girl that you once were, when you were happy and free and innocent and just beautiful, loving yourself before you got corrupted by, the world and everyone's opinions and playing small to get love in your family of origin. That's where most of the wounds start. And until we heal at a core level, we can't grow and be the best woman and the best version of ourselves that we can be. So we do healing, we do growing, and then we do loving. So we need to learn to love ourselves at a core level before we can love somebody else. And so, the antidote that most women think is to jump into another relationship. Another man's going to fix them, another man's going to validate them, another man's going to make them feel worthy. And ladies, it's the worst thing you can do because the patterns will just keep repeating over and over again. The best thing you can do is take some time out to heal and take some time out to find yourself and become the best version of you, because you've got everything inside of you that you already need. You're already beautiful. You're already complete. We've just been hiding parts of ourselves that, you know, we don't let the world see. We don't, you know, so we hide and we live behind our mask. So what I do is get you to shine. You know, we deal with all the crap, and then we do regression work. We take off all your layers, and then we build you back up. And, you know, it's just amazing to see the life transformation that the ladies go through. And it is a transition. We are women on transition, and it's a journey. And we do it in 9 weeks. It's all online. We have set work in modules. And I think one of the, you know, the greatest thing that I do is so different to everybody else. And this is where I brought my business background in. You know, when I had 65 staff, the way that I got people to, you know, really do great in their job was to empower them and to give them set tasks. We had time frames, we had goals, we had KPIs, and we had something to measure ourselves against. So, you know, you're not accidentally just going to find a new life. We actually have got to create a new life. And so we set ourselves goals and we get out there and we make it happen. And the thing that's always going to limit us is our little voice in our head. You know, so we've got to get out of our own way and we've got to quieten that little voice. So we're in control of our life, not our mind controlling us.
Yes, I used to call it the head hassler. It's that part that goes, you're not good enough, you can't do that, what do you think you're doing? And I'm like, shut up, you. What I used to teach people in psychic development, you know, was part of that was actually to draw, and they would think they couldn't draw, but I'd actually teach them how to release the intellect for the purpose of the exercise in order to go into the intuitive self and to listen to what's there, and then to bring in and onto paper what they're feeling and seeing, and not to critically, you know, that head hustlers go, that's the wrong colour pastel. It's like you have to feel your way with a pastel, and then you know that that's the right colour and it goes in the right spot. And it wasn't about the technicality of the painting. It was actually about when that voice comes up and says, you can't do this, what do you think you're doing? And the fear comes up and locks up the diaphragm. It's like the thing I used to tell them to say, which sounds along the lines of what you're doing, is, I'm okay, this will work, I can do this, you know, or I can relax, I can release, this is going to happen anyway, we're going to do this, we're moving forward. And just telling yourself those little mantras of the positive stuff, not the I will not, but I am okay, this will be all right, but putting the steps in, and that's what you're talking about, the very real practical steps of what to next, because a lot of times it's like these mantras are all great, but if you don't have the tools behind you, you're just saying stuff to the air, you know. So this is where what you're doing really works quite well and helps, because a lot of the time in New Age sort of thinking, there's all these lovely floaty sayings, and you see it getting posted up and you go, oh yeah, but there's not the sort of work behind it. And that's where on your Facebook group, you've actually got a group there for women where you're posting different you know, narratives each time, and then women are able to sort of you know, put their sort of thoughts on that as well. Now you've got a website, I've got here, it's womenontransition.com.au, is that right?
Just .com. So Women on Transition, and we're on transition. We're not in transition. On different, because it means that we're proactively creating and living our life. We're not a victim. We're not, you know, we actually don't allow our past to define us. So it's womenontransition.com.
Beautiful. And with the Facebook group, how do people find that?
So if you just have a look on Facebook and search Women Healing, Growing and Loving After Divorce, jump in our group. It's all free, and, you know, we support you. We show you another way of doing things. If you want to work with me, reach out, and that's the Shine program. That's our intensive program, and that's done over 9 weeks. So, you know, it's a positive, inspiring place to be. And, you know, where we're really, everyone's proactive and moving forward in their life.
Beautiful. I really love it. So tell us, you know, where do you see the next part of your work going from here? You've done a lot of work on this stuff so far. Like, is there a book there? How do people sort of reach into more of that, I guess?
And really, my work is, I believe that it's transitional work. I can't put in a book.
Beautiful. So it's been really good talking to you and looking at that. What do you think has been the most rewarding story you've had of one of the women who has transitioned through your program? Hello, are you there? We've just temporarily lost Fiona. I think she's doing a lot of work that's really quite valuable in the community. We're just going to try and get her back. But it's been really wonderful speaking with her. So if you're wanting to look at how to work on developing your skills to, transition through such big changes in your life, particularly for women, is what this program is designed for. And certainly there are programs out there for both women and men, but this one's specifically for women. Are you there, Fiona?
Yes, we lost you. So,
that's okay. It's been wonderful having you on the show, but did you want to just tell us, was there a particular client of yours or a story you wanted to tell about a woman who's had a particularly striking, change that's come through your program?
Sure, I can tell you about one of my graduates, Karen Harty. She's from the UK. She came to me purely because she wanted to end a relationship, or she wasn't really sure. She just didn't feel that it was serving her, but she was in love with being in love. And, I showed her how unhealthy that relationship was. And so I helped her write her letter and, be able to end the relationship with him. And, Karen was really struggling financially, but she found the money. She came into the program and she got just by empowering herself and moving herself forward, she got a promotion in her job. She got a higher paying salary. She decided she was going to move because she was so unhappy, but she realised that she was creating her own unhappiness. And so she's now renovating her house. And she's gone on, after she graduated, very quickly, she met an amazing man who meets her at her new level of consciousness. And we were just having a call last night because, part of the Shine program is that we create, all the ladies going through the course, we create this beautiful group, and it's a solid bond of ladies supporting ladies doing their work. And so they're all at the same place. They're all doing, experiencing the same things. So we were just on a call last night and she's met this amazing man. He meets her at her new level. It's they connect and he sees her soul and it's everything that she's always wanted. So it's early days. It's only, 6 weeks or so, but life-changing events. And it's not just Karen. Most of the ladies who go through the program are in beautiful relationships within 6 months, if that's what you want. Ladies come into the program for, just to empower themselves. Some want to be more powerful in their work or their careers. Others want to find a soulmate. And, when we work on ourselves, we become powerful. We become the defining, driving force in our life, and we can create whatever we want to create. So, very powerful and amazing course, really.
Yeah, I really love that story. It really talks about, the change that's possible. And so if you're out there and you're just sort of sticking in there and you're really unhappy, or you're in a situation where you've been left or you've left, and you're in that mind-numbing sort of, this could actually really be a good course for you to certainly look at and to connect with Fiona here. She's a beautiful lady. She's in Perth, WA, but she's reachable around the world. You'll find her on womenontransition.com.au. You can also search on Facebook as we've done. And it's been a brilliant show talking to you there, Fiona. Thank you so much for your input and for joining us on Soul Star Radio.
Okay, lovely. Thank you for talking with me, and it's no AU on the end. So it's just .com.
.com. All right, I'll change that on the website. So you can find it on Facebook on Soulstar Radio. I'll have the links there for you to find Fiona correctly. And in the meantime, we'll catch you same bat time, same bat channel next week on Soulstar Radio. In the meantime, there's going to be lots of shows with psychic readings for the rest of the evening in the US and until the afternoon in Australia. If you're in the UK, then you're up in the middle of the night. God bless all of you guys. Hey, in the meantime, lots of love. Going to say bye. Bye-bye.